Thank you to Keeps for sponsoring today's video. Let's head over to the Red Sea, where we're going to continue our naval coverage of all the drama that's going down here. Last week, the United States and the Royal Navy together struck 16 sites. Over 73 targets at these sites were hit with cruise missiles and air bombings. Those included command and control nodes, launching systems, production facilities, munition facilities, and air defense radars were all on the target list. The U.S. made a statement afterwards that the United States will not allow the Yemenis to continue to attacking shipping in the Red Sea or Gulf of Aden. The USS Florida, one of our SSGNs, did participate in the attack, so I want to give that crew some credit because they don't get any attention, being that they are submarines and don't want the attention. But when they do participate in a job like this, they're going to get it from this channel. Since then, we've seen limited attacks come out of the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Attacking shipping continues in the Red Sea. So this wasn't a shock and all, one stop, fixes everything. We have to maintain pressure on the Yemens and the Houthis specifically if we want them to stop these attacks, which have not stopped. Matter of fact, we're going to talk about how they've actually escalated because we did not keep up the pressure. The way that I want you to keep your hair. That's right. Keeps is an online subscription service that is both an easy and affordable solution to treat male pattern baldness. I noticed my hair was thinning last year around the crown of my head. And I thought, well, I better get used to wearing hats, covering it up, but there's a better way. Why not just keep my hair? Keeps offers both FDA-approved treatment that are clinically proven to work and a 2-in-1 gel that combines both treatments. These treatments are 90% effective at treating hair loss and can increase growth by 35%. Most men notice results in 6 months of starting treatment. Keeps has helped nearly 1 million men keep their hair and has over 4,500 5-star rating reviews. In addition, the clinically proven treatments Keeps offers hair thickening shampoo, conditioner, and thickening pomade. So hair loss stops with Keeps. For my special offer or to get started, go to keeps.com/subbrief or just click the link in the description. All right, UK's Minister of State and Minister of Defense, Earl of Minto, which I love the title of, he sounds like a breath mint, announced that the HMS Richmond, a Type 23 frigate, will be deployed to the Red Sea to accompany HMS Diamond, who's already there. And I got the a chance to tour a Type 23 frigate. I was guest of the crew for a one-on-one tour, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in my opinion, and I took full advantage of it and spent the afternoon with a sailor who showed me anywhere I wanted to go on board the ship. Pretty amazing tour. I got to see all the systems and the capabilities and meet some of the crew who were very motivated, well-trained, and professional. Now, this is primarily an ASW platform, and you may be saying to yourself, they don't have submarines. Yemen Houthis don't have submarines. Why do we need this there? Well, it does much more than just ASW warfare. It has the Sea Captor missile, so it can do long-range and short-range air defense. It has a Wildcat helicopter, which is really key. Not only is that an ASW helicopter, but it can move special forces around and engage small boats as well. So this adds a significant capability to the already capable fleet in the Red Sea that is led by this girl. This is the Dwight D. Eisenhower. Centerpiece of the carrier strike group that's deployed right now. She's been protected by 3 Arleigh Burke destroyers, the Gravely, the Laboon, and the Mason, but those 3 have been relieved in a new Navy program, at least it's new to me, where they're rotating the escorts of carrier fleets faster than the carrier itself. So during a carrier deployment, multiple squadrons of destroyers will relieve each other in a rotation to keep the crews fresh, the equipment well maintained and restocked. The 3 relieving destroyers are the Sullivans, USS Buckeli, and the Delbert D. Black. Those are all Arleigh Burke destroyers coming to relieve the Gravely, Laboon, and the Mason. This is a new program, is how it's being described to me, and we'll see how it goes. I think it's a good idea to rotate those crews out, keep them fresh, and the carrier has nuclear power, so it's very long endurance, and is very large, so the crew has lots to do even whenever they're not working. So I think they can stay on board, stay at sea, and stay effective more for longer periods of time. So if we go back to the big attack that happened in Yemen with the UK and the US, one of the things that triggered that attack was not just the 27 attacks that happened previous to it. A day or two before that attack, the largest attack out of Yemen on civilian shipping had just occurred. That included dozens of one-way drones, 2 anti-ship cruise missiles that are very dangerous. If those hit a ship, it's going to blow. It's a large hole in the ship, if it not a part. And then, of course, a ballistic missile was launched as well that then did miss. And I want to give credit to Twitter channel Schizo Intel. He makes these breakdowns of all the different engagements that are going on in the Red Sea right now. And the nice thing about it is it not only organized, it's actually accurate. And that's something that is priceless on social media. So good job for Schizo Intel being an accurate source of what's going on over there. And this is only since the 11th of January, but you can see here that we've shot down over 70 drones, 7 anti-ship ballistic missiles, which is pretty good, and multiple cruise missiles, both land attack and anti-ship. And he breaks them down by who did what. So good job. By the time you see this, these numbers will certainly have increased because the attacks coming out of Yemen have not been stopped. They simply have fewer resources from which to launch attacks from. And this is something I'm seeing in the media, so maybe just clarify this right now. The point of the strike against Yemen wasn't to stop all attacks and, remove their ability to do anything. It was a punishment attack. It was a retaliation saying, stop doing this or you're going to receive more of this. I mean, if they wanted to go in and remove Yemen's ability to attack anything, that would be a much larger scale campaign. And I go back to my Gulf War 2003 example of how shock and awe did not fix or wasn't significant, didn't have a significant long-term impact on that war. It looked great on television. Shock and awe has a great title. And, Rumsfeld can pat himself on the back all he wants. In reality, it wasn't nearly as effective as a sustained air campaign actually is, like we saw in Sarajevo, just for one example. There's multiple examples of air campaigns that work. And so if we don't have an air campaign over Yemen, looking for these mobile launchers that are shooting these anti-ship cruise missiles and these drone launchers that are very light and mobile, and you can launch a drone practically from anywhere now. If we don't have surveillance overhead tracking these machines and destroying them, then we're going to continue to see attacks out of Yemen. And unless we're willing to go that next step and maintain air supremacy over Yemen, we will continue to see attacks out of Yemen like we've seen. So it's not a surprise that this is happening. This guy's on top of himself. This is the spokesperson for the Houthi rebels. He's saying now, in addition to the Israeli ships that they've been attacking, they're expanding their targeting list to include U.S. merchant marines. So if you're a U.S. trained merchant marine, part of the U.S. merchant marine program, and you're serving on board a ship, no matter where that ship's from or what it's doing, it is now a target. They're specifically targeting United States citizens in this case, or people who are part of the U.S. merchant marine system. So in reality, it seems as if they're targeting anybody that they can hit, but they're just widening their excuses now at this point. China, who has set up a payment plan with the Houthi rebels, has sent 5 ships through the Gulf of Aden and into the Red Sea here. And they've changed their AIS. This is an interesting tactic that appears to be working. Either the payments or the changing of the name have saved these 5 ships from attacks. And so, for example, at the top there, EVA Global changed its AIS signal to 20 Chinese crew. And you can see here, this one says Chinese ship, this one says all Chinese, and they were not attacked as they went around the country there. Now, they're not the only ones doing this. Other nations, other vessels that are not flagged with China and have nothing to do with Israel are changing their AIS code now to, saying no contact with Israel, no links with Israel, implying that they don't attack us. We're not your target. The reality is they're going to attack whoever they can hit because they just want to cause trouble. And that's not like my opinion. That's what they're doing. That's what we're watching happen. And so I do want to give credit to Alex Longley here from Bloomberg. He broke this story last week, and then it was circulated around social media like on GCaptain. So credit to everybody who picked up on this. So this is the major escalation that I want to talk about today. This example, one of 2 that I'm going to talk about, this one happened back on the 11th of January, where Iran now is hijacking ships as well and taking full credit for it, saying, yes, they're doing it. They're not hiding behind a proxy army anymore like they were in Yemen. They're targeting ships that are transiting the Straits of Hormuz that they say have links to the United States. In this example, there was a distress phone call received via satellite phone at 03:30 in the morning in the Gulf of Oman. On that phone call, there are several voices in different languages saying different things, but the translation was illegal boarders breaking into the bridge, and then connection was lost. So Something unexpected happened on board that ship. Clearly there was people on board that weren't supposed to be there. They were breaking into the bridge. And now we see the ship being moved into Iranian waters. Therefore, it's pretty clear who was behind that attack. Credit to G Captain and Sal Marsigliano of YouTube. Check out his page if you haven't already subscribed to him. We know the ship was called Ice Energy. The ship was ported in Iraq, where it was taking on oil, crude oil. That crude oil had been purchased by a Turkish company, I assume oil company. So it's Turkish oil on a ship coming out of Iraq, heading straight to Turkey when it was hijacked. And then Iran made a statement saying that the Navy of Iran's army announced the seizure of an American oil tanker. This oil tanker nor the oil has anything to do with the United States. This is a Turkish. This is Turkish oil anyway. I don't know where the ship is flagged out of. So they managed to capture some Turkish oil. I have a friend that lives in Turkey. I asked him about this story. No media in Turkey that he saw is reporting on this. In his opinion, the Turkish media is putting their head in the sand like an ostrich on this story. And what happens whenever an organization does something egregious like this and meets no resistance? Remember that lesson we talked about? They do it again. That's right, folks. They did this last night. Another merchant vessel, St. Nicholas, was boarded in the Gulf of Oman, headed to Turkey. So they did it twice. That ship right there, that's an Iraqi patrol craft. Iranian patrol craft. This ship was hijacked by Iran, is going back into Iranian waters, and they're being escorted by an Iranian warship doing it. So we know who took this one here. It's just a continued escalation, and these countries will continue to broaden their rules of engagement, get more and more emboldened until someone stops them. And a overnight, shock and awe cruise missile and bombing campaign alone is not enough. You have to sustain pressure on these countries until they change their operating behavior. But we're not seeing that. And so until then, I want you to stop your hair loss with Keeps. That's right. For my special offer, get started with keeps.com/subbrief or click the link in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great one. That's KEEPS.com/subbrief.